Supreme Magus, Chapter 39, Setting Up the Board. How am I what? Lid yelled, having lost his cool for a second. Now it was the Count's turn to become red up to his ears. It followed Kayla, resisting the urge to demand for her to move faster. All this situation had come completely unexpected and was heavily weighing on his mind. Since he had heard of the painting, Solus hadn't stopped laughing, projecting in his head famous statues like the David of Donatello or the Perseus by Antonio Canova, but she replaced the facial features with lids and switched Medusa's head with the big swan, grinding on his nerves. I swear that if the Count had me drawn naked or something, I'll kill him faster and more cruelly than his psycho wife ever could. Luckily for the Count, that wasn't the case. The painting was quite big, 1 meter large and 1.5 meters high, and represented the Big standing on his feet with glowing red eyes in a dark forest, occupying the center and the left corner. Lid was drawn while facing the magical beast, offering only the left profile to the viewer. His small body occupied only the bottom right corner, engulfed in a magical aura. His left arm and hand were set ablaze, supposedly because of the fire spell he was casting. The perspective and the darkness-filled background made the Big seem big and terrifying like a dragon, while it appeared as the only element of light, his face filled with courage and determination. The enormous stuffed body of the Big was placed a few meters to the right, half hidden in an alcove to show the visitor the ending of the story depicted in the drawing. Well, it's not that bad, they thought. It's not the tacky horror I had imagined, and I'm not even idiotically beatified. That's my actual face. Solus, is it me? Or I look kind of handsome? Well, I don't know, she replied. It's definitely a version of you that doesn't glare or frown all the time. Most importantly, he doesn't look like he's there because he had lost a bet, like you do when you watch yourselves in the mirror. Lid sighed in relief. At least he wasn't portrayed in his birthday suit or in some kind of arrogant or overbearing pose. That would have been really embarrassing for him. What's the problem with the painting? Lid asked, scratching his head in confusion. The problem is that my father showed it to every guest, servant, and passerby that was willing to listen to him, recounting how you single-handedly defeated the malevolent beast in an epic battle of magic and wits. Jadon answered. That's quite an accurate recollection of the events, albeit entirely made up, Solus commented. The Count would make an excellent storyteller. Lid dismissed Jadon's worries with a wave of a hand. You are overthinking it. No one actually witnessed the fight. The pelt is almost completely intact, and everyone knows about Count Lark's obsession with magic and sponsoring promising youths. They would more likely believe that either I lucked out on that, the Count gave me some help, and is trying to lie me into a hero. No offense, your lordship. None taken, the Count replied. So, do you like it? He was itching of impatience, waiting for Lid's reply. What's not to like? He shrugged. I'm not an art expert, but it seems well painted. Both me and the Big are depicted realistically. The only question I have is how could the artist know my... Then Lid's eye noticed the painter's signature in the bottom left corner. It was a squiggly line, but with a leap of imagination one could actually read the named Treacherous. Lee turned around abruptly just in time to get a glimpse of Count Lark jumping with joy before regaining his composure. Having cleared that issue, they silently returned to the Count's private quarters before resuming their conversation. Lid pretended to be casting a fake magic spell while actually casting his hush spell. It would create a spherical air vortex that would make eavesdropping by conventional means impossible, by distorting the sounds coming out of the room. That will prevent anyone from listening. As I was saying, taking everything in account, no one would actually believe such a story. Of course, the fact that everyone knows my face complicates things, but a covert operation is still feasible. For how I see it, we have two options. Option 1, I pretend to not live up to what the Count said up until this point and act like a half-baked magician. This will give the enemies inside and outside the house the confidence to carry on with their plans, like I am not even here. It should make easier to capture whoever tried to poison you, but it also means that the assassin will embolden and attack more often. Consider that such person or persons could be a small fish, hence even eliminating him or her would do us no good. They would be easily replaceable. Option 2. I play it big and loud, confirming all the rumors about me that should put your wife on alert, forcing her to reconsider her plans and become more cautious. That would mean a temporary peace, but the next assassination attempt would be conducted by a skilled person that would strike only after careful preparation, giving him or her high chance of success. At the same time, it wouldn't be easy to find another trusted mercenary on such short notice if we manage to eliminate the first one. Both paths are filled with thorns and dangers, so it's up to you to decide. The room fell into silence. The three nobles were pondering about how they wanted to bet their lives. Isn't there a third option? Kayla asked. If you can find one, sure, I'm open to suggestion. Lid shrugged. I say that our best option is discretion. The Count has made up his mind. We aren't trying to beat Koya at her own game. We just need to stall for time. If we manage to survive on our own until now, with Lid's help, things should be much easier. Let's keep our real strength hidden as long as we can, so that when she finds out the truth, hopefully she won't have enough time to take the best countermeasure she could. I know her well. She is cold and calculative, but under pressure she is much better at taking orders rather than giving them. It happened multiple times in the past, and now is not any different. She could have pretended to accept my decision to stay by my side despite our differences. That way, even the first poisoning attempt would have succeeded. Since my suspect arose mostly because I knew she wouldn't stand idly while losing the status and money that the title of Countess gave her. But as always, Koya's bad temper got the best of her, and she made a mistake after the other. So, what's our next move? Until everything is resolved, don't hire new servants. It's too risky. Lid said. Aside from that, there is not much we can do. We are still on the defense. The only thing that comes to my mind is to introduce me to your staff, one small group at a time. Those who are still loyal to you will look at me with curiosity and benevolence. With those who are your wife payroll may feel pressure and lose their cool. It's a long shot, but it's better than nothing. Lid's plan was actually more complex than that, but it wasn't something he could share. Between his life vision and Solus mana sense, he would take note of everyone whose physical strength exceeded their occupation requirements or had at least a yellow mana core. Our best bet would be a male, middle-aged with a strong body and mana core. It would make the perfect suspect, Lid thought. Why a male? Solus asked. Because men are physically superior even in this world. A woman would better suit a honey trap, but we already know that the Count doesn't fiddle with maids. Middle-aged because he should be someone, the Countess, planted long ago to let him gain the trust and authority necessary to feel freely and move in the manner. And a strong mana core would be a great tell for a hitman. I doubt anyone with enough talent for magic would settle for a manual labor job without a really good reason. Also, if something magic related happens, it would be the perfect diversion, since women would always be the prime suspects being naturally more talented. When the Count had told him to have fired half of the staff, Lid had deluded himself into believing that would make things easier for him to control. But reality begged to differ. The remaining personnel still amounted to over 50 units, and that was only after not taking into account gardeners and stable workers, since they did not have access to the main building. 54 persons is more than the whole village population. It took me hours just to meet them all. None of them had shown signs of stress meeting him, making his official plan a complete failure. The silver lining was that he had actually found possible suspects. The problem, though, was that there were too many. Lid had found among the staff 16 people that stuck out for their physical or magical abilities. Yet, he had no way of performing a background check outside directly asking them or their colleagues, but that would make his intention too obvious. He couldn't rely on the Count or his children for that. They barely knew their names and roles in the household. He decided that for the time being, the best he could do was keep his own family in the dark. As long as he played his role as a weak magico, the safest place for them was the one further away from the eye of the storm. He kept thinking and thinking, but he couldn't find a way out. Damn it, I'm really starting to believe that this time I'm way out of my league. I'm no detective, just out of practice chemist that now practice magical arts. This is not a problem that I can solve by killing or burning stuff. The situation resembles more and more a freaking game of chess, and I hate chess. I suck at chess when the fight is fair, let alone when all I have is my queen, the king, and 2 pawns. Solus giggles was the first good thing he had heard the whole day. Well, if the board is so unfavorable, have you thought about cheating? Suddenly, Lid's stone ring turned to liquid, splashing on the floor before returning to the form of a marble. 8 little legs come out of the stone marble, making it resemble a spider that started to move in circles around Lid. Nice little trick, don't you think?